Hey, Salam alaikum, peace and blessings, my fellow people. Today I'm going to get started. I'm going to be talking about the holy month of Ramadan. And you're probably saying, well, why are you talking about the holy month of Ramadan? Let me get out this real quick. Bear with me for just a moment. Okay. All right, cool. Trying to move stuff around and okay, let's go back. Okay, so we're talking about the holy month of Ramadan, right? And Ramadan Origins 2025. And you're probably saying, well, why are you talking about Ramadan? Ramadan passed in February 28th through March 30th. Okay, so everybody that fasted um for the traditional Ramadan, Alhamdulillah, all praises due to Allah for that. However, what I'm revealing to you is the true origin of Ramadan. And what I'm going to show you is that the Ramadan that we've been traditionally following, which I showed you back in, I believe, 2021 or 2022. So this is nothing new. I've already revealed the truth, the real Ramadan. What this is a reminder of Ramadan that starts tomorrow. But for those of you who didn't see the video or this is your first time hearing this information, welcome. Okay, I'm going to educate you about the holy month of Ramadan, Ramadan origins. The Quran reveals its truth, and it starts 5/27/2025 for everybody on the northern hemisphere of the globe. Okay, so sit back, relax, put on your nice thinking cap, and let's get into it. Put on your most logical thinking cap. Okay. And let's get into it. So, currently, um, Ramadan, um, and bear with me for just a moment. Bear with me for just a moment. Thank you. Okay, Ramadan moves back 11 days every year. Why is that? Okay. I mean, it's the obvious. It's because the moon is always floating around. Okay. There's 2 billion plus Muslims that follow the traditional Ramadan currently. Okay. Traditional Ramadan in 2025 was February 28th through March 30th, 2025. Okay. Ramadan is celebrated annually once a year, same time and day worldwide. Right? These are the facts. Okay. Now, the question I ask is, can we prove this is the real month of Ramadan? Now, Allah says, falsehood by its nature is bound to perish. And truth, what it says about truth, it says truth what punches falsehood in the face or something like that. There's an ayat that basically states that. So, can we prove that this is the real month of Ramadan, the month that we previously fasted in from February 28th through the 30th, 2025? Um, Once again, if it's true, if 2 plus 2, if I tell you 2 plus 2 equals 4, you should be able to do your own research. And if it's true, you would come back with number 4 as the answer. That's what truth is. Truth is going to be always remain the truth. So let's continue, shall we? Okay. So Allah calls us, mankind, to ponder upon his wisdom. So let's talk about Surah 4.82. A'udhu birabi minash shaitanir rajim. Do they ponder the Quran? Do they not ponder the Quran? Allah always wants us to use the Quran when finding out the truth. So I was questioned on my YouTube channel. Um, you need to find out the real Ramadan if this is the real Ramadan. And I never thought about that. But this person brought this question up to me. And from right then and there, I was on a mission. Um, And these were the questions that I already had. So, questions I pondered about when finding the root truth about Ramadan. That's why did Allah only name one out of 12 months in the Quran? Okay, that's odd. He only named one of the months out of the whole Quran. Okay, and why does Ramadan keep moving? Okay, these are questions. I think these are legitimate questions that some of you all may ask, but you just rock with the tradition. And how come the meaning of Ramadan doesn't match up with the month? Ramadan means scorching heat, okay? And how come some Muslims think it's in September? Hmm. These are all questions that I've heard from Muslim chat groups, within myself, other people, and within myself. So, by the end of this presentation, we're going to answer every one of these questions, okay? Let's move on. Surah 38:29. This is A'udhu Birabi Minash Shaitanir Rajim. This is the scripture that we have revealed unto thee, full of blessings, that they may ponder its revelations, and that men of understanding may reflect. So let's ponder, shall we? Now, the thing is that men of understanding may reflect. Everybody's not a man of understanding. So Allah is talking to certain men of understanding that may reflect or figure this out or understand what's going on. But not everybody is a man of understanding. That's okay. It just goes to show you Allah has people in different ranks and levels. There's nothing wrong with that. This is how He creates. He creates as He wills. Not all of us can be prophets, right? So not all of us can be Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, or King Solomon, or Musa, or Isa, peace and blessings upon them all. Some of us are just regular men, men of understanding, the whole lot. Okay, so let's move on. So anytime I'm doing my research, I'm bringing you to the origin because I like to get to the root of things. So the origin of the Islamic calendar. So once you leave this presentation that I'm presenting towards you, you will know from start to finish how everything came about that I'm speaking of. Okay, so right now, the introduction, we're talking about the origin of the Islamic calendar. It was this is what the research shows. Introduction in 622 AD. The Islamic calendar known as Hijra was introduced in 622 AD during the Prophet Muhammad's migration to Medina. Now, this is kind of a head scratcher, but we're gonna move on, okay? Established post-Prophet's death. So supposedly it was introduced. Um, but the calendar came into existence years later after Prophet Muhammad's death in 632 AD. The Prophet didn't establish or ordain the calendar himself. Once again, these are facts. Um, Caliph Umar contribution. Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab established the Islamic calendar in 639 AD to organize the Muslim community administratively. So this is Caliph Umar's doing and his um establishment. Okay? Prophet died in 632. The Islamic calendar came out 639. So you may be asking, who is Caliph Umar? I'm glad you asked that. Let's just find out the root of him. Since he's the root of the calendar, let's dig up some information on him. Okay? So the Khalifa behind the Islamic months. Naming Islamic months. Islamic months were named during Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab eras, formalizing the lunar Hijra calendar. Caliph Umar, his life was 584 to 644 CE. Okay, he was the second caliph of Islam and one of the most influential figures in early Islamic history. He succeeded Abu Bakr in 634 CE and ruled until his assassination in 644 CE. Okay, the Prophet's migration. Why is this important? Umar and his advisors decided that The Hijra, the migration of the Prophet and his followers from Mecca to Medina in 622 CE, was the most significant event to mark the beginning of the Islamic calendar. So, this wasn't when the calendar was created, but this inspired, from what I'm reading in the history, which you're reading as well, inspired that, okay, well, we're going to base the Islamic calendar from this event. Okay. So the Islamic months, names, and meanings. So they came up with these names and meanings for the months. Okay. Let's see if they were creative. Um, so the first month is Muharram, forbidding. It's a forbidding month. Okay. Safa, whistling wind, empty or travel. Okay. It's not that creative. Ra Rabiul Awwal, the first spring. Okay, this sounds like January, February, March, right? The first spring. Our spring is in March. And then they got the second spring, which is Rabia Sun. Okay, April. You see where I'm going with this? There wasn't the Caliph Ummah wasn't that creative in thinking of this calendar. But let's just go on. Okay, the fifth month is Jumad ul Awa. I may be pronouncing that wrong. It's the first dry season, and the sixth month is the second dry season. Rajab is respect and honor. Shaban is the disperse. Um, Ramadan is month nine. This would be August. This would be September. This probably answers the questions why some Muslims think that Ramadan is in September. However, scorching heat, by its nature, should cancel out the month of September. And then you got Shawwal, lift or to carry. Okay, these months, like, what does this stuff mean? Like, really? I'm giving you the meaning, but is this significant meaning to months? Lift and carry. And then you got Zul Qada, the month of sitting. Yes, it's the month of sitting. So what does that mean? We're supposed to just sit in the house the whole month and wait for the Hajj, wait for the month of Hajj, which Zul, Zul Hijjah, which is the month of Hajj. Like, this is what him and his councilmen came up with when they thought about these months and naming them. Um, so there you have it. This is the root. This is what it is. Okay, so currently this is the Islamic names of the months, okay? This is the meanings and everything of them. So, Alhamdulillah. So let's discover Ramadan using only wisdom, science, and nature. Okay, no opinions or preconceived notions and traditions needed. After all, Allah tells us, I will show you the truth within the horizon and within yourselves. Okay, so I'm going to discover if what we follow is the current tradition of Ramadan and the calendar is cool. Because, okay, so the truth that we have so far is that the Islamic calendar that we currently follow was not ordained or created by the Prophet, peace and blessings upon him himself. That's a fact. Ummah, Caliph Ummah was the one, him and his staff was the one that created the calendar. That's a fact. So only speaking facts. You can chat GBT it yourself, grok it, whatever. You should come up with the same thing. Okay? So there's nothing wrong with creating a calendar. We always going to use calendars because it helps us with the keeping track of time. The main thing is, did he keep the integrity of the Islamic values and so forth and everything? That's what this is all about. Okay? Did he keep the integrity of Ramadan and it falling in its natural month that it's supposed to fall in? And all the other months, like the sacred months, the Hajj, and all of that good stuff. Because if that integrity of the months is not kept, then this calendar is all wrong and it needs to be redone. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so discovering the truth about all months, you know me, I dig deep. I don't just go start. I got to give you the origin of everything of what I'm researching. So, from my research, there are no specific root names for any months. These are only for dunya purposes. Because, for one, if you take back the Islamic calendar, he came up with the calendar, Khalifa Umar. So, what were the name of the months before then? You see what I'm saying? Boom. So they had different names. Or if we take our calendar, we followed the Gregorian calendar. Guess what? It was another name for all the months before the Gregorian calendar. Everything was different. It even came to the first of the year used to be in July. Can you believe that? Well, I can believe that now that I've done my homework. I see why the first of the year can be July. And in some eras, maybe hundreds of years ago, the first of the year used to be March. Okay? So, and there were different names for the months back then and so forth. So, there are no specific root names for any months. We name the months because they're only for our purposes, for doing your purposes. The only thing we need to stay true to that there are only 12 months within a year. Okay? And make sure Ramadan and the sacred months lines up with where it's supposed to be. That's our purpose to keep the calendar en route, okay? So I'll move on. So with the solstice and the equinox, these are our balances of the whole calendar. This makes everything throws everything in balance. The solstice and the equinox. So if you're not familiar with the solstice occurs twice a year, marking the sun's highest point, which is the summer solstice, or the lowest points in the sky at noon, leading to the longest and shortest days, the winter solstice. Okay? So when we experience the longest days of the year, we're in the summer solstice. When we experience the shortest days of the year and more night than daylight, we're in the winter solstice. Okay? Equinox characteristics. Equinox occurs twice a year as well. So the solstice occurs during the summer and winter months. The equinox occurs during um, March and September. Okay? Equinox occurs twice a year, with day and night being approximately equal in length, representing balanced day and night durations. This is why some people think that, hey, maybe Ramadan is during September because it's when day and night is being approximately equal in length, representing a balanced day and night duration. So this is the other reason why some people think that Ramadan is in September. However, I disagree with that because that's not what Ramadan means. Okay? So, once again, don't bend the truth to your liking. Use the truth and stand firm upon the truth. Don't bend it towards what you want it to be because then you're deviating from the truth. So, solstice and equinoxes are key astronomical events that mark changes in seasons affecting daylight durations and seasonal transitions. If you want to follow this stuff, download the DAF app to follow moon, sun, and planets' natural rotations and swimming orbits. So once I personally downloaded, it's an app called the DAF app, DAFF. It's going to show you how to understand the solstice, the equinox, the sun, the moon, the planet's natural rotation. It gives you updates on all of the good stuff. When is the solstice? When is the equinox? You probably already have an app similar to that on your phone. Use it. It's going to help you figure out Allah's wisdom, okay? So we're still using wisdom right now, right? So no opinion. I haven't put my opinion in this at all, okay? Cool. So discovering the root meaning for Ramadan. Now we're using more of the wisdom, the haqq. So you can chat GBT what Ramadan means. The first Ramadan meaning, the word Ramadan is derived from the Arabic root ramad, which means to be intensely heated by the sun, or scorching heat, hot month. I didn't come up with this meaning. This is the core, one of the core meanings of the word Ramadan. So when we're fasting from February throughout the end of March, um, are we experiencing scorching heat? At least in America, we're not. I understand if you're in Africa, it's a different season. That's fine. It's an explanation for that as well too. Okay. And if you're in another part of the globe, it's a different season. Cool. But this is the number one meaning for the word Ramadan. And you notice how when we're dissecting the ayahs and the verses in the words of the Quran, we always argue about, oh, that's not the root meaning of the word, or that the word doesn't mean this. Oh, messenger means Rasul, it doesn't mean Nabi, or it means prophet, it doesn't mean messenger, and it's all this other stuff, you know. Oh, salat doesn't mean to bow, it means to whatever, you know. So, because some of these words have double meanings, and people make a big deal, especially the well-versed community, the Arab community versus the non-Arab people who tries to translate the Quran. So they always say, "Well, that's not what the word means." Okay, so this is what the word means. Okay, this is meaning number one. And like I did in the previous video, I'm doing it again. This guy is all he was also searching for what Ramadan means. I tried to reach out to him. He basically dropped off YouTube, so I only have his video because I couldn't reach out to him. But he was also searching for Ramadan and its truth. And this is what he came up for the second meaning of Ramadan. So I'm going to play his video. Hopefully this time you get to hear the audio. So this is what he says. Peep this out.
And I was wanted to share with you some thoughts in regards to the topic of Ramadan, since we are in the season of Ramadan. Whether you believe Ramadan is a full moon or a crescent moon, if it's before or after the equinox, I think we're pretty much ballpark here. And this is exactly what I want to talk to you about today. Now, first of all, I do suggest that if you are not well versed in Surah 2, verse 185 through 188, please open your Quran and follow along. I want to share with you some thoughts of mine in regards to this particular topic. And what I'm going to share with you is something that already existed, that I already know. So I do, I do suspect that Shahru Ramadan, month of Ramadan, is not a name of a month. It's a title of an event that happened within that month, within a specific month. It's like saying month of bloodshed, month of glory. Okay? Month of bloodshed, that's not a name of a month. It's just a title given to that month because there is bloodshed. Month of glory, the same thing. There's glory in that month. Okay? So likewise, month of Ramadan, it's not the title of a month, like month of July. It's not a name of a month, sorry, but it's a title given to an event that is happening within that month.
Interesting, right?
Now the question is, what is Ramadan then? What is this event? Well, it's called Ramadan. Why? Because the word Ramadan, the root, means a thing that reaches its maximum point.
Reaches its
A
maximum
thing that
point.
reaches its maximum point. For the sake of this video, let's
Hmm.
just translate it as intensity. Month of intensity. Okay? So what is this intensity? Why is it called such an event? The answer is in the same verse, because the Quran came down in it. الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. The one the Quran came down in it. And if you really think about it, the Quran, being a revelation from God, a direct word from God, is full of energy. It's why God says that Laylatul Qadr is better than 1,000 months.
Wow.
It is also why God says if the Quran was revealed to a mountain, you would see it trembling and crumbling out of reverence for God. So it is full of energy. And so God calls the month in which the Quran was given to the Prophet Muhammad
Full of
an
energy.
intensity. You can imagine a human being receiving direct revelation from God and reciting the Quranic revelations to the people. That is intensity. Okay? So that's a hypothesis again as to why it's called month of Ramadan. Not a title, not a name of a month, as we often think, but perhaps it's an event that is happening within that month called Ramadan.
Interesting, right? So, what I wanted you to grab out of there was
And I
what I wanted you to grab out of there is what he said. It was something that reaches its maximum point. Okay. And he said that it is a um intense intensity. Um, so just remember what he said. Watch the video again if you need to, because all this lines up. Once again, I'm not using my opinion. So let's put this all together. Okay. So the Earth reaches its maximum point during June solstice, 6/20/25. Now remember, he says the second meaning of his definition of Ramadan from what he researched is something that reaches its maximum point. He said that. Okay. Okay, I didn't say that. He said that. Guess what? The Earth reaches its maximum point, its maximum tilt towards the sun during June solstice. Okay? That's the month of Ramadan. Okay? It's very specific. If you put those two meanings together, because we are familiar with the word with words that have double meaning, binary meanings, and it means different things. Okay? I gave you the first meaning where during the month of Ramadan it's intense heat or scorching heat, aka hot month. Okay, so it's during the month of Ramadan, it's intense heat or scorching heat, aka hot month. That was the first meaning. Okay, he talked about intensity, intense heat. You saw the definition of it as well. Now, if both meanings have significant understanding, then you put all the meanings together because you can't really say which meaning is more stronger than the other unless it just don't make sense. When it comes to figuring out, the words of these ayats and so forth. Um, so start fasting when noticing the new moon of the Ramadan month, according to the new moon, not dunya month's beginning. So, for instance, the new moon um, of the month of Ramadan, the new moon is 5/27/25. So, as of right now, that's tomorrow. And whenever you're watching this video, the new moon starts or started 5/27/25. Okay? Now you're probably saying, hey, but the solstice is 6/20/25. Um, that's still within 1 month. Okay, that's still within the same month. This is the beginning of this event that's going to happen. Okay, this is the beginning of the month. This is the new month where this event happens in this month. Okay, let me break this down a little bit more because I know you're probably saying, well, you're confusing me right now. So if you're confused, I'm going to bring it together a little bit more. Check this out. Here's another video that explains more about the summer solstice, okay? So check this out.
The word solstice means sun standing in Latin. It marks the point when the sun stops at its most northerly or southerly point relative to the equator before reversing direction. For the summer solstice, the sun would appear at its highest point in the sky and is the day with the longest period of daylight. It happens twice a year, once in both the northern and southern hemispheres. The summer solstice in the northern hemisphere occurs around the 21st of June, but it does not always occur on this day, as it all depends on when the sun reaches the northernmost point from the celestial equator. It can happen between the 20th to the 22nd of June. Around this time, in areas north of the Arctic Circle, it is possible to witness the sun not set at all, so are dubbed Land of the Midnight Sun for this very reason. This occurs because the Earth's rotational axis is tilted. The Earth rotates around an axis inclined at an angle of 23.5 degrees in relation to its orbital plane around the Sun. It is this tilt that gives us our seasons. Summer occurs in the hemisphere that is tilted towards the Sun, whilst winter falls on the hemisphere that is tilted away from the Sun. Traditionally, summer solstice is seen as the middle of summer and referred to as midsummer. However, the June solstice marks the astronomical start of summer in the northern hemisphere, occurring when the Earth reaches the point in its orbit where the North Pole is at its maximum tilt toward the Sun. On this day, the northern hemisphere receives more energy from the Sun than on any other day of the year,
Wow.
due to
Did you hear that? During this day, when the Earth is its maximum tilt towards the sun, which is what the guy said, Ramadan means something that reaches its maximum point. She just explained this video is on YouTube that breaks down this stuff. Like I said, this is just science. I'm just giving you the answer through science, wisdom, and nature, okay? Okay. So she said this day, which the sun reaches its maximum point, which the earth reaches its maximum tilt towards the sun, is the day that the earth receives the most energy. So out of the entire year, this is the day that earth gets supercharged the most. And it's actually a couple of days, okay? As she showed you, it's for a couple of days. Don't worry, I'm going to tie all this together. But I hope you're seeing all of this. This is defining what Ramadan means, okay? I'll continue. Okay?
the word solstice means sunset.
Okay. So, I don't know what this stuff is. Something is in my way. Okay. So, speaking of now you know like the traditional Ramadan, right? We all are looking for Layla al-Qadr, right? The night of power. And that normally falls during the last 10 days of fasting in Ramadan. So guess what? It's the same with this Ramadan. However, we know exactly when Layla when Layla al-Qadr specifically occurs. How beautiful is that? There's no more guessing. There's no more, it's the ninth day, it's the eighth day, it's the seventh day. Let me just go through this. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Okay. In Surah 97, I'm going to repeat ayahs 3 through 5. Okay. The night of power is better than 1,000 months. Okay. Therein come down the angels and the spirit by God's permission on every errand. Peace, this until the rise of morning or the rise of morn. Okay? So this the specific night or nights of power are doing Earth longest days from June 20th through the 24th. Okay? 2025. Receiving the most intense energy from our powerful sun. This is not, once again, I'm speaking about nature. This is not my opinion. This happens with or without me speaking this. Okay? So the specific nights of power are during the Earth's longest days from June 20th, 24th, 25, receiving the most intense energy from our powerful sun. If you just saw that video, she basically said the same thing. Okay, I think it was just a couple of days off. Um, she also said that um, during the night of power, it's where the earth gets the most energy from the sun doing this. That's basically the night of the solstice. Okay. It gets its most energy. That is the night, that is the scientific night of power. How cool is that? So the night of power is actually the night of power. Okay? You don't have to guess what night it is, what day it is. You know specifically from every day from now on when the actual night of power is. There's no guessing game. How about Allah wanted you to know this so you can be in sujood and you can do as many rakas as you want and you can pray the whole night so you can get your prayers answered. It's not a mystery once you do your homework. Once you actually look up nature and you wisdom and you don't try to bend the truth towards your liking, everything becomes much clearer. Now you're probably saying, why is nobody else teaching this? Because everybody's walking blindly and they just follow the ways of their forefathers and their fathers. And when they see this, they're going to be like, well, how come nobody else is teaching this? How come nobody else is speaking of this? We never heard of such. Those are the same exact responses the people of the book said when the messages came to them preaching the truth about Allah. They said, we didn't hear our fathers preaching this. We didn't hear our forefathers following this. So when you see this, you're probably going to be saying the exact same thing. How come my imam is not teaching this? How come my sheikh that I follow is not teaching this? How come nobody in this ummah is following this? Because everybody's walking blind. You see the facts for yourself. I'll move on. I got more to show you. Okay. So the night of power, we now know the exact night of power. How cool is that? No more guessing game. Okay, chasing the solstice and equinox, ways of the past. So how the people of the past used to do it, they would build their pyramids and their structures according to the equinox and the solstice. So they'll know exactly when the change of seasons comes through. See, we don't do that. We're so far away from nature, that we don't know what's going on with the sun and the moon and all of that good stuff. The people of the past, they were very tuned in. It's time we get back to being tuned into nature. Okay, so let me talk about some benefits of fasting in the summer. I'm gonna just breeze through this. You can look at this as much as you want. I got this information from a few books that I've read. Um, Fasting in summer is improved digestion, increased hydration, reduced inflammation. So if you got inflammation issues, fast. Okay, better mental clarity. So fast. Okay. Seasonal light benefits when you're fasting in an environment where there's more sunlight, okay? More sunlight is going to is going to give you a better mood enhancement. It's going to give you more vitamin D production that your body will create. It's going to help you sleep better with sleep regulation, and it's going to give you cognitive cognitive function, okay? All these are benefits of just being exposed to more light and all of that good stuff. This is what I wanted to show you. However, enormous health benefits of Ramadan during this solstice season. So, I just talked about the benefits of being in the light, having the most sunlight, and I talked about the benefits of fasting. Now, let me get down to the nitty gritty. This is how this benefits. That's why Allah says, But it's best for you if you fast, if you but only knew. These are the magnificent health benefits when you're fasting, when you're supposed to be fasting. Okay, you get the vitamin D synthesis, which is crucial for maintaining bone health, supporting immune function, and promoting overall well-being. Enhance immune function, exposure to sunlight aids in modulating immune responses and may lower the likelihood of specific infections. Cancer risk reduction, we're talking about you reducing your risk of cancer, metabolic regulation. Sunlight plays a role in weight management and energy levels by influencing insulin sensitivity. So it's going to rebalance your natural metabolic system and weight management. Increase circulation. It improves blood flow. This is what happens when you're just out in the sunlight when the sun is at its highest peak during the year. Okay? Autophagy advantages of fasting. Now, autophagy, okay, and I may be pronouncing that wrong. That's a medical term. I'm not a medical guy, okay? But that word, okay, it extends extended fasting promotes the amazing autophagy process. Now, what is autophagy? It's basically cellular repair. It's basically a process where it normally happens either when your body is exposed to heat for long periods of time, okay, which is alhamdulillah, we talking Ramadan fasting, which is the most intense heat of the whole entire year, or when you're just fasting and you're not eating and you're not eating and you're only drinking water for extended periods of time between, I think after 24 hours, your body will start going through autophagy, which basically what that does, it repairs your cells. It eats up the dead weight, the dead cells that's in your body. It eats that away. But guess what? Now we're combining fasting with sunlight. And guess what we get? Evidence suggests that fasting enhances autophagy, cellular repair, while sunlight contributes to increased vitamin D levels and the alignment of what's that circadian rhythm, making the combination advantageous for overall health. So basically, you're doubling up on your health. Your body can get the maximum healing power it'll get throughout the entire year more than any other way naturally. By integrating significant sunlight exposure with prolonged fasting, your body can accelerate recovery from cancer, neurodegenerative diseases, infection, stress, and a host of other conditions. So this is the best time out of the whole entire year to be fasting. It's not January, it's not February, it's not March, it's not April, it's not August, September. No. This is the best time according to nature because these are the longest days of the year. We're exposed to the most sunlight. And if you combine fasting with maximum heat that we're going to get from the sun, you're going to get the best results of healing your body naturally. Some of your diseases, some of your issues will go away. And if you're probably saying, well, why is it so hot? Nobody wants to fast and it's hot. Okay, it's not convenient. What? It's supposed to be convenient towards your liking? No, Allah is trying to heal us. He's trying to help us. Okay? This deen is not supposed to be convenient for you. You're supposed to be subservient towards the deen. The deen is not supposed to be subservient towards you. Allah has put down these rules. Now, if you don't, now I've already been fasting. Guess what? You're not going to die. You know why? Because my last fast was last year around this time. Guess what? I didn't die. Okay. So I fasted during this time last year. You're not going to die if you wake up and drink some water. Okay. Chill with that. You'll be fine. This is actually going to help you. If we're in America, a lot of us is suffering from chronic diseases. We could use fasting around this time. Okay? So, peace and blessings, Ramadan Mubarak. starting May. So Ramadan is from May 5, 27, 25 to 6, 25, 25. That's Ramadan. Okay. So all those blessings. If you have questions, please comment below. I'll try to answer all the questions as well. Look at this presentation again if you need it. As you see that this is all from science, wisdom, and nature. I didn't put my opinion in this. I'm just showing you the truth. I felt obligated to do this again because a lot of people still aren't aware of this. Um, so hopefully this can educate you even more. If you're probably saying, "Oh, well, I believe this is true, but I need like a 2, 3 day prep." I get it. It's my fault because I should have put it out earlier. Um, just do the best that you can. And if some of you are looking at this and saying, "Nah, I'm not rocking with it," guess what? You already fast, so you don't have to rock with it, okay? Um, it's to each his own. However, if you be like, "Yo, I know what you're saying. This it makes sense, but I don't know." Look at it again and do your own homework. Even though I've done my homework for you, I've gave you the origin of the Islamic calendar. Um, I've gave you the root meaning of what the word Ramadan means. Um, multiple meanings. I've showed you what the videos have showed you what solstice and equinoxes. I gave you the wisdom, the hawk. So please, you can do your own research. I always tell you, my goal is not to mislead you. So many other people have misled you. I'm not trying to be one of those people. So, and if you probably said, "No, this don't look right," I've given you nothing but facts. I've given you no opinions. So even if you said, "I'm not rocking with this," you still can't deny that there's a solstice that happens every year. You still can't deny that the earth gets its night of power during the solstice, which the moment of the solstice, which lasts about 3 years, is when the earth gets its most energy from the sun. That happens with or without you knowing. It's been happening since the beginning of time, and it's going to continue to happen until the end. So even if you ain't rocking with it, that still remains a fact. Even if you ain't rocking with when I'm saying Ramadan is, the root meaning of the word Ramadan is scorching heat, scorching month. So if you replace the word Ramadan with this meaning when you're reading the Quran, because you can do that with any word, okay? You can say during the month of, instead of saying during the month of Ramadan, you read it with this definition during the month of scorching heat, okay? During the month of intense heat, okay? Either way, that's letting you know that, okay, it's a month of scorching heat. So, even if you don't believe me, I've presented to you nothing but facts. So at least stand firm on the facts and then do your own research if you don't believe me. I guarantee you, if you do your own research, you're going to circle right back here. And that's cool. Because, like I said in the beginning, if I tell you 2 plus 2 equals 4, and you do your own research, you still should come back to 4. And guess what? I did my own research on Ramadan, and I didn't go back to it didn't lead back to the traditional Ramadan that we just did in March. Nothing lined up with that. Like, absolutely nothing. Like, nothing. And this is part one. I'm going to talk about the calendar as well. The calendar of Ramadan that um, Caliph Umar created. He did mess up the integrity of the Quran. Um, it doesn't follow none of it. And I know right now we're coming up on the month of Hajj, right? That basically starts on the 27th. It's a new moon. However, we have to It's going to be another video. Long story short, I'm going to create this next video within this month, before the night of power, inshallah. Okay? So stay tuned. I'm going to give you information. And of course, all my information points back to the Quran. But long story short, the sacred moons that the calendar has, the current Islamic calendar, I'm sorry, the sacred months, it's all wrong. Okay? He messed that up too. Inshallah, I'm going to give you all this information, okay? Thank you for rocking with me. Thank you for looking at this presentation. Look at it again. Please comment. Pass this to any Muslim. I don't care. Sheikh, Imam, whatever. We got to get the truth out. That's what I'm all about, is getting the truth out. Um, so thank you for checking this out. As always, peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum.